think I just peed.
Buckle up.
We're back in the closet.
Welcome to another episode of Back in the Closet with the Two Crazy Cat Ladies. This is a real fun and exciting one. We have been looking forward to this actually all day today because we are with one of our dearest friends. Most favorite humans.
It feels like Christmas today, Pam. It feels like Christmas.
Like highlight of my week, let me tell you.
Yes, yeah, same. Because it feels like it's like we get to catch up. We get to it just feels very relaxed. And we know that we're going to have great conversation as we do every single time we have conversation with Pam Roussell from Purrrfectly Holistic, who is joining us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us to discuss a very important topic, especially at this time of season, which is allergies in cats, and then how to combat, how to help our cats with those symptoms, and just like the whole, we're going to go through all of the stuff when it comes to allergies tonight. So there's not a time frame tonight, which is funny because we're usually like,
I know,
let's try to keep it to 36 minutes or less. And we not
and
that we
never
ever do.
Let's be honest.
No, but we usually have that mindset of let's keep it short. And tonight we're not going to, so maybe we will. Who knows?
Who knows how long this podcast could be? Pam, for anyone who's joining us who has been living under a rock since circa 1993, who are you?
1993. Where did that come from?
I don't know. Who are you, my love? And
I'm a slave to him and three others.
Gunner's here to join us tonight.
Yeah, he's checking in on us tonight. I don't know if the other three are going to visit or not, but we'll see. Hopefully they will.
I'm not opposed. Please bring them on.
Yeah, right. It's like, come on, kitties.
Also,
But I'm just a cat mom who has learned a lot of hard lessons, and now I'm just trying to educate and empower other cat parents so they can do better. They can learn from a lot of the lessons that I have learned from. And I, like you, we've learned a lot from a lot of really smart people.
Yeah.
And implemented some new things and are raising our cats differently than we have in the past. And we're getting great results.
Right.
And that speaks volumes, right? I mean, if we can have healthy, happy, long-living cats, that's the goal.
Yep.
And that's what's happening. And so, that's what I do. And I'm an energy medicine healer practitioner, and I work on pets and I work on pet parents. So it's fun. I work in the woo-woo every day, and it's a lot of fun.
Just to say for anybody who hasn't joined us with Pam in the past, Pam was our first introduction to woo-woo in the pet world, at least.
Yes.
And we were blown away back in 2019, 2018.
Yeah.
2019.
It was just I almost feel like it was an awakening. It was like any of the things. Look who's come to visit us here.
Miss Annie Banani.
She loves you. Annie had the pleasure of meeting Pam.
Oh,
she's first came to us.
She's just precious.
She is very special.
You met her literally
within weeks of her coming.
Yeah,
she came to us on March
6th, I think.
Beginning April. So it was just like max 3 weeks of us having her Gunner. Before you met her.
Gunner is all about the love.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah, so you were an introduction to the woo-woo, but really we call it the woo-woo, but really you have a gift, you have a skill set that is really changing lives, and your knowledge is your insights, and your experiences, the lessons that you've learned are absolutely invaluable in the cat community. So I am so grateful that you're here with us. I feel like we're going to be talking about a small subject compared to some of the things
the things that we could be talking about.
Yeah. So we'll be doing more, but tonight is about seasonal allergies specifically.
Right. Well, and we'll get into that in the long term, right? Yes. But allergies,
let's talk about allergies in general. Yeah.
Let's talk about allergies, right?
Yeah.
Like definition of an allergy is the overreaction of the immune system, right? Like the medical definition, simple medical definition, is the overreaction of the immune system to said thing, right?
Yes.
What do you define when it comes to cats specifically? How would you define an allergy?
Do you hear that? Is that hissing?
Yeah, what is that?
I have no idea.
It just went away.
It just sounded like an air fart, a really long one.
Maybe it was a spirit. I don't know.
The woo woo is here.
The woo is
never underestimate a spirit. Yeah. So, okay, what was your question again? I got totally sidebarred with that.
How do you identify? How do you identify allergies in cats?
Allergies?
Yeah.
Well, the most common would be like the same type of allergy symptoms that we get. So the runny nose, the sneezing, the mucus, the itching skin, rashes, things like that. That's most common when people think of allergies.
Yeah.
So they tend to present themselves more in terms of like environmental sensitivities to pollens and weeds and trees and grasses and whatever's blooming in the air right now.
Right.
What's prevalent and putting stress on the immune system, and the immune system is having a hard time keeping up. So that's kind of like that's your short version answer.
Yeah, no, I really like that. And when it comes to, so there's like two different types of allergies, right? Like allergies that, and there goes my balloons. Two different types of allergies that animals deal with, right? It's either mammals deal with. It's either environmental or food, right?
Yeah.
Like one of two things. It's either the environment or it's
food. Yeah.
What are the main differences you see in those two different types of allergies?
Well, I think a lot of people throw the term food allergies around, but it's really not a food allergy. It's more like a food sensitivity. So we can talk about the difference between the two. If you have a true allergy to something, you are having an immune response. So, for example, if you get stung by a bee and your skin swells up and you've got red hives and your throat is closing and your eyes are all swollen and things like that, that is an allergic reaction. That is an immune response, and your body is being flooded with histamine because of it's in response to something that is threatening you. Your body views it as a threat, and it is really overreacting because in some cases those can be life-threatening situations.
Right.
So the difference is in like an irritant or a sensitivity causes just, I would say, minor symptoms. It's not an immune response. It's more just like an irritation. It's like, I'm going to release a little histamine and I might sneeze and I might scratch a little bit, but it's not a life-threatening condition. You know what I mean? Your throat's not closing. It's more just a sensitivity. And those are a completely different story than having an allergic reaction.
Right.
Foods can, some people are allergic to food. I remember years ago, I ate crawfish and my face started swelling up and my throat started swelling up. So I haven't eaten crawfish since then because apparently I am allergic to crawfish and I'm not going to try it again. But there's a difference. Like if you go outside right now and you start sneezing your head off because there's a ton of pollen everywhere, that's more what we call an environmental sensitivity to something.
Yeah. Very interesting as far as like the sensitivities, especially when it comes to our cats, but even with people with food. So let's start with food sensitivities or food allergies, right? The thing is that we're talking about allergies and we're using the term allergies because that's what the medical world uses, right? Like the conventional medical world doesn't say, your veterinarian is not going to say, I think your cat has a sensitivity to chicken.
Right.
Your cat, your vet is going to say, I think your cat has an allergy to chicken.
Right. Which is not really accurate.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And there's many reasons around that, but I do want to tell a quick short story. So we have a friend who's a scientist I won't mention her name, but she was, and this is going to relate right back to actually Pooh Bear even. But she was huge salmon fan. Always ate salmon. Like she was like salmon sushi, salmon this, salmon that. She was eating a lot of salmon. And then at one point she ate salmon and it literally blew her up, like you said. Everything like anaphylactic, whatever you call it.
Like anaphylactic shock. Yes.
There you go. Yes, that word. Like that kind of thing. And she's like, all of a sudden, she had been eating it. So it wasn't like since birth, right? She had been eating it, but all of a sudden.
Over the course of 24 hours, she had had salmon for dinner. She had whatever for breakfast.
And the lox.
Breakfast. Then she went to a thing where they had salmon, whatever. And then, so over the course of a 24-hour period, she had an incredible amount of salmon, and she was leaving the last event that she had salmon at on her motorcycle. And when it started having this severe bodily response, the throat, the breathing, all that. Right. And you wouldn't think that was an allergic reaction to salmon because she ate salmon all the time. She had just had so much of it in a 24-hour period.
And then when you think about our cats and how if they are fed the same protein over a prolonged period of time, like fish or even chicken, like those are the two biggest culprits, right? That they develop a sensitivity. And the pet parent is like, no, I've been feeding them the same thing for so long. They're absolutely fine with it. But all of a sudden they are getting these, what the vet calls an allergic reaction. And they can no longer consume these specific proteins, usually proteins, but also they can develop sensitivities to corn, wheat, soy, all the crap that's in kibble too.
100%. Yep.
Yeah. Crazy, but true, right?
Yes, it is. And it's a scary thing. And you know what? The more we learn about the microbiome and the gut and leaky gut and things like that, it makes me wonder if something in like maybe how that food was raised, or if that animal was exposed to toxins that start to attack, attack is not the right word, but to weaken our gut lining. You know what I'm saying? So I just wonder if that may be contributing to some of that long, after here we are going along fine until bam. Now it's like, what? You know what I mean? I just wonder if that is contributing on some level to, I don't know. Just
well, I'm sure. I mean, we know it has to. I don't know about the reaction specifically, but we do know that the way that our food, the way that our cat's food is farmed, right? Like it is, it's if any of us actually went to especially if we're feeding big brand pet food, if we went to the farms and watched and saw how those animals
treated,
how their food is treated.
Yes.
And you're the energy girl, right? Like you think about the energy that comes from.
Yes.
I always think of that. Billy Hookman was sharing the difference. Chicken is seen as a highly inflammatory meat.
Yeah. Like I have heard omega 6-3 ratio 19-1. Like
yes, it is way more inflammatory. Yes,
unless
chickens that are
organically
raised, have a pasture, are they're treated with like the chicken
dignity and respect.
Yes,
fed
completely different nutritional makeup to those birds when they go into the food supply.
Wow.
And that's a remarkable thing that is just a scientific fact, whether it's the omega ratios or whatever it is. So I think it is food sensitivities, food allergies are what are some of your coaching tips for people that have discovered that there are food sensitivities?
Or maybe you've helped.
I'll tell you, our friend Dr. Katie Kangas shared this really interesting thing on a show that we did one time. And she said for cats who are scratching a lot around their ears and their face, if it's not environmental, it's food sensitivity. it's most commonly a food sensitivity. So that's when I ask people, well, what are you feeding? And let's change the protein. That's the first thing I would say, is change the proteins. And if you're feeding ultra processed food, stop. Stop the ultra processed food, because we know that's inflammatory.
Right.
But the protein, if they're eating chicken and tuna all the time, let's stop doing that and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's an easy fix.
What is your time frame for saying, let's try something different?
How long?
Because everyone wants a quick fix, right? So let's say, like with our Pooh Bear, for example, he had the rodent ulcers. He was dealing with a lot of issues, and instead of
this was right before he met you,
before he met you, Jay actually just took a look at everything that we were feeding at the time, had some kind of fish in it, whether fish meal or fish broth, or even if it was the lamb recipe,
and we were feeding
or the chicken recipe. Right. And so we went through great lengths.
He was on canned, at least,
to remove all fish from his diet, and we were amazed at how many of his symptoms cleared up over the course of some time. I mean, it was probably 3 or 4 weeks. What is your go-to time frame for people? Because it's not a quick fix when you're dealing with a food sensitivity, and you're like, okay, let's do the elimination game. Once you eliminate it, how soon have you seen in your experience that you start seeing results with eliminating a certain protein?
That's a good question. I don't have like a
definitive
case that I'm thinking of because I don't have a cat with sensitivities, or I'd be able to measure it myself. But I would suspect it's going to take several days, if not a week or two, to fully get that protein molecules out of your system completely. Mm-hmm. But I would suggest that after a few days, you should start to see a reduction in irritation.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if it's like up here and it's really bad, and you change the protein, it's probably going to be a slow decline, like less and less and less and less. As long as you are seeing that, I think you're moving in the right direction.
Correct.
But if you don't see any difference whatsoever, and this is where it takes being a really good observer, and take videos, like video your cat over time, so that you can look back and go, oh my gosh, look how bad that was, and look how good he is now. Because we forget, when you're around an animal every single day, oh, you have another kitty. Adoro. When you see the same cat every day, we don't notice those little subtle changes, right?
Right.
It's hard to notice.
Yeah. Video journaling is really such an invaluable.
Yeah, or picture. Like, I think we took pictures with Pooh Bear, because it was so when it came to Pooh Bear, he had these like massive bumps on his lips, like it just made his lips look like he was like on Botox that went real bad.
It was terrible.
Right? And
it was awful.
Like a reaction to Botox or something, right? Like it was real bad. And we took him to the vet, and they said steroids, right? And that's I mean, up until that point, it had been really every time we had gone to the vet with one of our cats, it's steroids or antibiotics. Like that was their only go-to thing to do. And we were already in this industry. We already knew the effects of steroids. So I was like, well, we'll hold off. I don't even think we purchased them. I was like, let me just hold off and do some research first. And I did some like deep diving into studies and stuff, because I get nerdy sometimes. And I saw that sometimes fish or chicken, and primarily fish, can cause, there goes my balloons again, it can cause these reactions. So I was like, how about we wait? And like, he was still eating, pooping, like all the stuff. So I was like, how about we just take him off of fish, because fish is in all of his meals that he would eat at that time.
Yeah.
How about we take him off of fish and see? It was 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks. We did see the slow decline, just like you said. We started to see, like, it looks a little bit better. I think that's looking better. Like, it doesn't seem as red. It doesn't seem as inflamed. Like, but it is, like, I think it's getting better.
That's why pictures or videos are valuable. So you can really track it.
Like every few days, take another shot just
Yeah.
to see and compare. Like,
Yeah, it was the first time that we were like, I think that's better, that we took a picture. And then we were like, is that getting better? Let's take another picture. Now let's compare it. Right. Like it was 2 weeks and those were gone. They were gone.
Wow.
Now he had autoimmune disease and there were so many other things that he like, you know, those bumps were also, there was lots of stuff and things that he was going through, but those rodent ulcers, we didn't put him on steroids at that time yet, because it was the fish that was causing that. So
exacerbating his autoimmune disease for sure.
Yeah.
Real quick, I want to see if you can answer this question. Scratching 3 to 5 times a day, laugh it off on YouTube. Just ask, is scratching 3 to 5 times a day considered a lot of scratching? My opinion is no, depending on if it's always in the same place, if there are sores that develop, if it's, you know, if there's hair loss that's involved. I always get, I'm always like, why are you itching when someone in our family itches? But everyone has a scratch from time to time. So
yeah, we do.
What do you think?
Like right now, my neck itches.
Well, I think you have to step back and take a 40,000 foot view. Like, is the cat outside? Are they playing in the grass? Are there a lot of pollens? You know, look at the situation. And like you said, I love what you said, is you can scratch in the same spot all the time. Is it red? You know, because sometimes cats scratch. We learned this from Julianne Thorne. It's anxiety. Anxiety can be an indication, like, why they're scratching all the time. They're trying to brush off that energy. They're just not comfortable. They're nervous or something. So I think you have to just be really mindful about the overall picture instead of zooming in and, you know, getting lost in the weeds. Step back and take the 40,000 foot view, and, you know, things like, does this happen just seasonally? Does it happen constantly? Is this a chronic thing, or is it just every once in a while? This, you know, 3 to 5 times a day. There's no way for me to answer that without more information.
Well, and maybe that's a good segue to seasonal allergies, because I feel like there's a lot of people dealing with that right now.
Well, real quick, I do want to say, because we talk, like, this is a good time to be talking about seasonal allergies, but there are a lot of people that reach out to us, and probably you as well, who are like, my cat has allergies, right? And they're year round. Right? Like, it's not like in the spring or in the fall, right? Like, it is year round. They are always reacting. They always have the itchy skin. They always have these things. And I think it's very important that we make it a distinction between a seasonal sensitivity or a seasonal allergy or allergy, right? Versus a year round always dealing with this, right? If we are dealing with a year-round allergy, then are they going to? Is this going to be okay? Our cats. I'm sorry. Our cats are being very distracting.
Zara
right now.
just found Annie up on one of the shelves, and now he's on the shelf above her.
Oh yeah.
What is happening above me right now?
It's
everything's fine. But if we are dealing with a year-round, like all the time, my cat is allergic to something, we need to, one, really look at the gut, and also, in my opinion, look at the environment as at their home environment, right?
Yes.
So,
speak to that. What's your?
Well, one of the things that I've learned that I think is just totally what's the word? Not under focus, but it doesn't get enough emphasis, is that if you have chronic allergy issues, you have a gut health issue.
Yes.
And if you don't address the cause of the gut health issue, you're going to continue to have, you can use as many supplements as you want to, you can use the right diet, you can use whatever, you know, remedy, supplement, whatever it is. But if you don't address the root cause, you're not going to get rid of the problem.
Yeah.
And
you're going to keep popping, even with your cats, you're going to keep popping the Zyrtec. You're going to keep popping the pills that may help the symptoms, but we're worsening the problem, the steroids, the antibiotics.
Deeper.
Right. Right. Because the overreaction of the immune system is what the medical field defines allergies as.
Yep.
And if your immune system is overreacting to everything,
Mm-hmm.
which is why it would be year round, then we need to look at the immune system. 80% of the immune system is in the gut, which is why we have to heal the gut. We need to, and you can't do that with pharmaceuticals, unfortunately.
No, I think it goes back to like leaky gut. And I would guess that 80% of Americans and 80% of vets probably have leaky gut issues and they don't even know it. You know?
80%?
I would venture to guess. Yes.
Wow.
It's people don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
You know? But when you think about how many people have allergies, have IBD issues, IBS issues, food intolerances, you name the issue, I think it goes back to what does your gut lining look like? Because if your gut lining has tight junctions, there's no toxins or anything, foods, molecules from pollens crossing into that bloodstream that shouldn't be there, and your body wouldn't be reacting to something.
Correct. Right. Yes.
So we got to heal the gut if we want to heal the allergies.
Yeah. And if we go through the process of, which is not an overnight thing, there is not I'm going to let Adrian finish that sentence.
There's not a quick fix when it comes to gut issues. But I do love that there is testing out there now that you can really, pardon us.
I didn't even know I still had that shoe.
There's testing out there now that can really help identify the sensitivities. And then when you recognize what's going on or what's causing that gut to react, you can better soothe it. Honestly, there are a lot of things that can be really helpful, but it's not an overnight. It simply is not an overnight fix. So
no, 100%. I tell people all the time, pack your patience. This is going to take months.
Yeah,
pack your patience.
Pack your patience.
Well, but and speak to this because I feel like we live in a world where you take a pill and you're feeling better 20 minutes later, and when you're actually dealing with something at the root of an issue, it does take time. And whether it's we were talking with Dr. Katie Kangas about that. She was saying basically if you're going to start a new supplement, give it 90 days. Let the body recognize that this is something that's going to be so I think healing something is different than treating symptoms.
Correct.
Completely.
Oh, 100%.
I love the pack
your patience.
Because it is one of those things where we've heard this saying so many times, you'll either pay for it now, you'll pay for it later.
Yeah.
When it comes to health specifically, if you're not willing to kind of take the time to figure out what the root issue is and realize that it's going to take some time to do. It's like with so many of these issues, especially gut health. If you're just trying to deal with the symptoms, itchy skin or eye drainage or sniffles or whatever it may be, and you're throwing steroids or antibiotics at it, you're worsening the gut health. And so you're going to be caught in this cyclical situation that is going to be very expensive and is not going to be helpful.
Solution.
Happy for your cat. Yeah.
Right. So
and it also weakens the liver. Being on medications all the time, you're stressing the liver, and that is probably your most important detox organ in the body. And if that one is not working 100%, you're in trouble.
Yeah. It's true. And I also want to bring up the fact that there could be, because you said sniffles, right? Like there could be issues that are going on that are right here in front of you, like it was with me, right? It's like I learned the hard way that sometimes if our cats are constantly having runny eyes, like sneezing, these certain things, it might not be pollen. It might not be, and especially if it's year round, right? Like it might be exactly what's in your home. The number one trigger of allergies and asthma in cats are actually the fragrances and chemicals that you use in your home. Chemicals that you use in your home.
Candles.
Right?
100%. Yes.
Essential oils, all of those things that everyone's addicted to it.
Anything that's toxic.
Yeah.
And it's really sneaky. I think it's really crummy, but those manufacturers that make those products are just creating these really fun, marketing campaigns that make us want to go buy that product. And do we even bother to look and see what's in it?
No.
No.
I think it's so important, especially when you're talking about toxicity and how our cats react to it. If you have anything in your home, look at everything in your home. This is something that we look at everything in your home, and you look and see if it says, if ingested, call poison control. Our cats are ingesting aerosol sprays, cleaners,
everything
that they touch.
Your Swiffer wet jets.
They are
literally everything that you are using in your home, your cat is ingesting. Right. Know that.
And so that's the first place to start when you're like, I don't know why this is happening in so many ways. I mean, obviously a vet visit. Let's make sure that there's nothing crazy going on with the blood work or a regular wellness exam. But
if your vet says allergies,
if your vet says this is an allergy and let's throw steroids at it, please pump your brakes and take an inventory of their environment.
Yes. I'll give you a really good example. Years ago, my cat Lily would stay up in my ex-husband's office a lot, and there was a bathroom right next to that office, and he loved his Glade spray, every time he went to the bathroom. Well, it was so close to his office, and she you're asking too much information. I'm sorry. Okay, so she's like has runny eyes. She had like runny eyes, and she had red. She would like scratch around her ears, and it was like red marks on her face. And I said to him, you need to stop using that shit spray. Get rid of that. It's like so many chemicals and toxins. And I remember Dr. Karen Becker doing a talk on this, and she said there's a difference between like an allergen and like an irritant. Something is so irritating, it makes our eyes water and our skin itch. And once you remove it, it's like, my skin can just calm down and my eyes stop watering, Right. But yeah, that was a prime example. And I had to show him, I'm like, look what you're doing to your cat,
It could be
it's frustrating because I was like, we're not having any chemical cleaners in my house, and we're not going to put the sprays. And
he's like, Glade in my pocket.
I'm telling you, I would throw it away every chance I could.
It's like this pooper.
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. But we've become so conditioned to think that fragrance that smells clean and smells good is good. It's just chemical. It's not clean. It's just chemical. We've been brainwashed to think that pine smells good because it's clean. No, it's chemical.
It's the opposite. It's the opposite of
clean. The opposite. Yes. So that's a great example. And those little plugins that people put on in their house. Guess what height they are?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cat height. So there are cats walking around past those plugins, and it's at eye level for them. They are ingesting and inhaling all of those chemical toxins all the time because they're down there, and they're getting it on their fur and on their paws, and they're licking. And
the studies show that the cats have 40% more
23 or 28% higher the toxicity level of household cleaners in their bloodstream than humans in the same home, and twice as much as dogs.
Right. Yeah. And think about what that means as far as how their body responds to that toxicity. Mm-hmm. And that's why it is such, if I just believe this, if you go to the vet and you're like, my cat's dealing with A, B, or C, and they say, oh, that's right, allergies, let's do a steroid and just kind of take down the immune response.
Right.
Don't.
That's the worst thing you can do, because you're still poisoning your cat.
Right.
You're poisoning your cat, but you're just making excuses to poison your cat. Here's a steroid.
Other chemicals in there. And just to clarify, like what the steroids do is it suppresses the immune system. And since the allergy is the overreaction of the immune system, you do see an immediate result. Right?
Yes.
An immediate result. However, now that immune system is more compromised, we are going to deal with more issues as soon as that steroid wears off, because now that immune system is that much weaker, right? So it's going, it's a cyclical issue.
Oh, of course. Here's an analogy. If you're driving down the street and your check engine light comes on, it's a symptom that something is wrong. So if your cat starts having, major allergy symptoms, it's a symptom that something is wrong. Don't go put a Band-Aid on it. Because you can just disregard the check engine light, but eventually something's going to break down and you're going to be without a car because you didn't go take care of the problem. It was trying to tell you, hey, there's a problem over here. You need to go get this checked.
Right.
Thing. I mean, when we have pain, it's a sign that something's wrong. I need to go get this checked. I need to figure out what's causing this,
Right.
Find the root cause. Don't ignore the check engine light. It's a
And before
Don't
we move
ignore
on,
the check
so this
engine
is Deborah has a check engine light on. She said a cat with constant ear infections, yeast, scabs on head, loss of fur in mostly the head area.
Yep.
The poor cat is on steroids constantly.
Okay.
What would you suggest?
I bet I know what it is.
Tell us.
You've already given me a clue. Yeast. It's Candida in the gut.
It's Candida. It's yes.
Diet. It's something in the diet. I don't care if it's raw food. I don't care if it's raw beef. It's the protein most likely, unless it's processed food. Then it's probably, it could be a protein and a starch. But it's
starch.
It's feeding the Candida. That food is feeding the Candida in the gut. And because there is such an imbalance, it's coming out to the skin.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's why you're playing a whack-a-mole game with that.
Yeah. And
Deborah,
I will tell you, Deborah,
that.
Do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Are you about to say the same thing?
Probably. We always say the same thing.
We just did a podcast with the incredible Billy Hookman with Green Juju, and they came out with a probiotic. It's called Soil. And what he was explaining, though, because yeast is such a common issue, this beautiful probiotic kind of works in a way that crowds out the bad yeast.
Nice.
It's the good bacteria. So this could be a game changer for cats, especially cats that have been, whoa.
When it comes out,
cats dropping from the ceiling.
When it comes out. But Deborah, I will also say that we were in pet nutrition before we started Two Crazy Cat Ladies for 10 years. And we dealt with yeast in dogs specifically
multiple times a day,
a regular, 95% of every single day. Literally that is what we dealt with. And it did surface as allergies. The vets had always diagnosed as allergies. They gave steroids, antibiotics to suppress the immune system so the immune system didn't react. And what we would have to do is take them through a full-on gut building process, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we'll do with you. If you want to reach out to us, shoot us an email, and we'll reach out to you. It will take time. Pack your patience, as Pam says, right?
Can I also give you a tip on that? If you wanted to start something, olive leaf is great for breaking down Candida. Olive leaf is great. So if you wanted to start with a quarter to half a ml once, probably twice a day, mix it into something that tastes really good, because olive leaf does not taste really good. Mm-hmm. And then there's also a homeopathic remedy called Candida albicans. You could go with I would do a 200C potency, and you could do that once to twice a day to help the body rebalance the whole Candida thing. Because we all have Candida in our gut.
Right.
It's in balance, right. So when there's dysbiosis, it gets out of control and then you have problems. So it helps just bring everything back into balance.
Correct. Yes. Okay. So Deborah, what I'm going to suggest to you, and I know Pam will be down for this, is that we come up with Pam a specific protocol for your kitty. And we will do that together.
It's actually not her cat, but would love information. So she's helping someone else with their kitty. Thank you, Deborah, you beautiful human.
Yes. But and
I think Soil is going to be available late May.
We're hoping
maybe early June, but it is coming, and I really think this is going to be.
But you're also very so. Side note, but when we were in the dog industry, black leaf is what it was called. It's black walnut and olive leaf. Mm-hmm. is the remedy, and it was one of the remedies that we used in our yeast kit back in the day. But when we could call it a yeast kit, It was a yeast kit back in
And
like
it
2005,
was a game
2006.
changer.
And it was a
Yeah.
game changer. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're probably going to need to use that for at least a month. It's not a quick fix.
And
No,
we
it's
might
not.
just have some on hand, just so you know.
Reach out, Deborah.
Yeah.
We'll let you know.
Reach
It's
out.
exciting though. And I
And butter inflammation. Yeah.
hammering home the fact that it's, this isn't about treating the symptoms. This is about finding out what's actually causing it, which is why testing is so invaluable for this.
Mhm.
Back and forth to the vet and get rounds and rounds of steroids or antibiotics, and you're really kind of putting the gut, which is probably the main issue, at such a disadvantage that it can't. There are certain antibiotics that studies have found that beneficial, the flora and fauna of the gut does not come back ever.
Yeah.
So this is why it's so important, if there's an infection, to culture and find out what's going to be the most beneficial antibiotic to use, not just gas it, like throw film at it, right? And why it's so important, if you're dealing with something that is cyclical, stop and really try to get to the root of it.
Right.
And here's the problem is that everybody's like, well, but like, where do I even get the test? Right.
Well,
now,
first of all, you have to be able to
bug
that for the test. Like I tell people all the time, the most important question you should be asking your vet is, why is this happening? And if they can't give you an answer, you need to go find another vet, because they should be able to tell you, well, if we do this diagnostic, we can look for X, Y, Z, and then we'll know if it's one of these issues, because most people don't ask why.
Yeah.
They don't know that, yes, you can get a test for Candida. You can get a test, but they don't know to ask for a Candida test. So it's good that you're watching.
Yeah. Well, and it's also, unfortunately, there's so many people that we deal with that like live in a rural area, and there are two vets in there,
resources,
right? Like they're not in like Las Vegas,
where you can go to 5 different vets.
I've fired already 11 vets in Las Vegas, and we have a great one, right? Or 2, right? Everybody has the resources that we have, and there are things online. And product plug. So
this is Adela. God bless.
Yeah. So we have on our website, if anyone listening or watching is interested in getting a test to see, like, your cat is sensitive to something, but you don't know what exactly it is, and you don't want to keep suppressing the symptoms. You want to get to the root of the issue. Then the feline essential hair and saliva test is on our website.
And it's simple.
And it is simple. You can do it at home.
Yeah.
It's way easier than we thought that it would be when we first learned.
And you get some real results, and it's not just real results. It's
like you clip some of their hair and you put a Q-tip in their mouth. Like it's that awesome. Easy. But
you get real recommendations to help moving forward, to help.
Yeah. Homeopathy and
So that is very exciting. I feel like this is what happens with you, Pam. We're 43 minutes in.
Are we seriously?
Yeah.
It's fine.
We haven't even talked about seasonal allergies yet.
So let's get to the whole subject here, right?
Because
this is what everybody's dealing with right now. I'm hoping that people that are here that are seeking advice are, I'm not hoping that people are dealing with seasonal allergies, but for people that are seeking advice and here listening or watching, are looking for, spring just hit. My cat has
all runny eyes, or sneezing all the time, or
itching, scratching, all of the seasonal allergies. What can we do, Pam?
Well, there's actually a lot that you can do. If you know it's definitely from outdoors, and it's your house is clean and you're toxin free and you're chemical free in your home, it's probably something like that. Again, I like to peel back the layers and go, well, why is the immune system so out of balance? You have to look at what has your cat been exposed to in previous years? Was it old vaccines? Was it flea tick meds? Like, what could have damaged the immune system to start throwing it off of kilter for all this time? Because sometimes we can go all the way back to kitten vaccines and then trace over the years how they started to develop these chronic issues, 3, 4, 5 years later, and then now they're 12 and they have all these problems. Well, the work that I do, I go all the way back to the very beginning. Let's go find the source, So I would say do some digging, go through your records, go see what your cat's been exposed to. Let's try to address the root cause. We can do that as well. But for symptoms, put them on some milk thistle, put them on nettle. Supporting the liver is huge. And in a lot of cases, if your cat has never done any detoxification work, there's probably some stagnation in the body. And that's when the liver gets really sluggish. Your lymphatic system is kind of sluggish. And the body has all this histamine running through it. And it's just kind of, everything's sluggish, so the histamine stays in the body longer. So putting them on some milk thistle and dandelion would be good just for lymphatic and liver support. Mm-hmm. And here's something I found today because did a little search. Quercetin is one of the best herbs for allergies for people and for pets. But I'll tell you a little thing.
Yeah.
Quercetin tastes terrible. Cats do not want quercetin. But guess what I found? A homeopathic quercetin.
No way.
Yes.
Oh, flash. What?
Yeah, it's in a bottle. It's called Desbio, Desbio. I have not purchased this product. Like I said, I just was like, is there a homeopathic quercetin? Because how cool would that be? Oh. Yes, there is. So if you wanted to use homeopathic quercetin, give it a shot because it's not going to taste bad. You know what I mean? It does have a little alcohol in it, but our friend Rita Hogan swears that alcohol is not a problem because it's diluted so much and you don't have to worry about that. And your cat's liver can filter and process that. So don't worry. Nettle. Nettle is another wonderful herb that supports the immune system and balances histamine.
Yeah.
So that.
Nettle, let me say just for a second that we just watched a series on allergies in pets, and they talked about nettle, and a stinging nettle is what it is. You won't see it sold as stinging nettle because nobody would buy it if it says it's stinging, right?
Yes,
nettle leaf or nettle. Mine says nettle leaf.
Yeah.
But I went and bought it because this is the first year ever in my life. Like I've never actually had allergies, Pam, ever. Have I ever? I don't think ever.
Not that I've ever seen.
Yeah. 2 cats. When I first got my first cat, I had allergy to cats. And then he slept on my head long enough that I overcame it. But never had seasonal allergies until this year, like literally a month ago. And I went to Sprouts. I went to our local, store and food store, and I got nettle, and I take it every morning now. And if I wake up and my eyes are like runny or itchy, it's gone by the time I have basically like an hour after maybe finishing taking my supplements in the morning.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. That's so awesome. Yes. The other thing that you guys could think about doing, and I highly recommend, is increasing the daily amounts of omega-3s. Because they're very anti-inflammatory, and they help protect cell membranes. So you can't, even if your cat is eating a balanced diet, I don't think we can get enough omega-3s in them. You're not going to overdose on omega-3s. But if you wanted to add something like sardines and water instead of a supplement, use a food source.
Right.
Make it food instead of a supplement. Bovine colostrum is also really good for allergies. It helps soothe inflammation in the gut. Helps with histamine and things like that. Probiotics. If your cat's on a probiotic, maybe several times a week. Specifically, what I found was the Enterococcus and Lactobacillus acidophilus. Those are 2 of the main probiotics. Are they in the cat probiotics?
The Entero is the main cat probiotic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good at pronouncing them, but the Entero, the one that starts with an E.
That is, yeah.
for cats.
Most beneficial.
And it's not in all probiotics.
No,
It's
actually,
yeah.
Yeah. So that, and then maybe get some fiber in your cat's diet. Let's help their microbiome, support that healthy gut balance. Feeding them a species appropriate diet, obviously in our world, that's such a big priority, but I think it's undervalued. Like people don't realize how important that can be in helping to just keep your cats healthy. And then, of course, we've got your favorite line, your Vira X, your OxyCat, your Catalyst, your all these great supplements that are awesome. Those are great options to throw into the mix.
Yeah.
Still,
like even with with those specific products that you're talking about, we're still, naturally, so it's not causing any side effects, but we're still just helping symptoms in the majority of those cases versus like building the gut and the food is so important. Like just the diet, like when you think about, I don't know, so many people in the beautiful cat community adopt their cats at, they adopt senior cats or they adopt an 8-year-old, right? Like last night we had like so many people being like, oh, I just adopted a 7-year-old. I just adopted an 8-year-old. And it's a beautiful thing. I love it. I love it so much. But you don't know their history. You don't know their past. Or maybe you do, and you just didn't know better like us, right? Or, like we just fed, right, like all of us, we just fed crappy foods, whatever, and now their immune systems are reacting. And now we're seeing this weakened immune system that's reacting to everything, right? Because we have to build that immune system in order for it to be strong enough to not react to everything, right? It's the same with us. Like for those of us that grew up in the dirt, right? Like we grew up playing in the mud, making mud pies, playing outside. Like that's why we don't have drinking from the hose. Like not like necessarily things you recommend necessarily, but we should recommend rolling in the dirt, rolling in the grass, being around, exposure to these
immunotherapy. It's giving your body small doses to adjust to what it can be exposed to. It's funny that this year was the first year that Jay has had seasonal allergies.
Right.
Also the first year that Zorro has had seasonal allergies. He gets this runny eye, and it is, since we got the air purifier, we just did a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
That has completely, and we leave the door to our catio open. We know there are tons of things blooming outside right now. This little girl is so pretty. But yeah, he's the purest of all of our cats. He will not eat anything that's processed. He only loves his raw food. We rotate proteins. Like we're doing like all this stuff and things.
Yeah.
The probiotics, digestive enzymes, omega-3s, the staple, the supplements this boy gets, and it's like there's something new that we've not been exposed to before. Like we don't know what it is. We might just do the testing.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. We live in a toxic world, and how many of us have noticed chemtrails being sprayed in their air above us in these cities? And
I thought that was pocus stuff until you start listening to the engineers that make them, and they're like, what?
It's a real thing, and it's toxic, and they're putting heavy metals, and they're putting aluminum and barium and all of these horrible immune weakening toxic molecules and chemicals in our air, and it comes down and it gets onto us, it gets onto our yards and our trees and it gets into our catios, because the wind's going to take it wherever the wind blows. Yep. And so just starting to be exposed to just whatever's outside. I mean, we don't walk around in a bubble, so we're not going to ever be completely toxin free. That's why regular intermittent detoxification can be hugely important. Just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What are some of your go-to for regular detox?
Oh, I love zeolite products. Like I've been using the Venzio by Vengeance. and it's micronized, so it gets into the cells really easily, and it's
Like a little scrubber.
I think it's more like a positive charge, negative charge, so it draws out the toxins and the heavy metals and the stuff out of the cells and out of the blood, and it pushes it out through, our processes. So
Can we get that on your website?
yeah, but I'm out of stock at the moment. Yes, you can.
Is that good?
Yes.
When will you be back in stock? Or do
I don't know. I need to order some. It's expensive being a small time business, I'll tell you. Minimums and margins. It's all about that. So yeah, but if you go to vengeance.com, you can order it.
How do you spell that?
VENJANZ. Vengeance.com. Yeah. But there's other zeolite products out there. I know Masterpiece is one that Dr. Robert Young made. He's a naturopath, Dr. Natural World Medicine that's helped a lot of people over the years. But there's other products out there, but maybe a zeolite product. Look around. Almost anything that a human can take. If it's safe enough for you, it's safe enough for pets, but you just got to look at the ingredients.
When it comes to supplements.
Yeah, you got to just make sure, because I don't know, sometimes they might put something funky in there that really a cat shouldn't have or a dog shouldn't have.
Sometimes
we were buying quercetin at the at Sprouts, and we were asking the lady, like, where is it? And she was like, oh, we have a whole line over here. She took us over and she was like, did you know it's made from onions? And we were like, what?
Not always.
Right. And so we were like, immediately, like, let's look at the ingredients and make sure that we're not going to give our cat something with onions, because that's toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So,
yeah,
absolutely.
I love that. Laura Lee, you beautiful human. Moon Mojo Feline in the house. She said calendula, chamomile, and yarrow herbs are also good for allergy symptoms. German chamomile hydrosol is also good. I love Rita Hogan. Thank you, Laura Lee, for this reminder. I think, Rita Hogan's on her book tour right now for the Herbal Dog, which has so many good and invaluable things in there for us as well. And you think of plants as the first medicine. It really is exciting to, when you do want to take the time and figure out a root cause and you want to treat it in the most natural way possible, there are so many resources out there now, whether it's a homeopathic, whether it's herbs, that can really just give the body what it needs to heal itself. I watched a microscope video of a white blood cell going through red blood cells, looking for like
pathogens.
Right. And it was, you think about how intelligent our bodies are.
Mm-hmm.
This little white blood cells like on a little, what do you call those things? The
microscope
in chemistry. What'd you do? You
on one of those little glass slides.
Yeah, on a little. Like, I can't know what they're called. And you watch it do its work.
Yeah.
Like, without us thinking, without us. And I really feel like it's one of the reasons we're such big advocates for a species appropriate diet. Give your cat what they as a species are meant to eat, and let their bodies do what it needs. When we go like natural, when we can do the things that do no harm, and also give the body what it needs to help heal. It's amazing what the body can do for itself.
Yep.
Absolutely. Homeopathy is one of my favorite things to use for myself and cats, because it's tasteless, and cats can be a little challenging when it comes to things they don't like the taste of. So like what I tell people is just go you don't even necessarily need a repertory all the time, but just do a Google search, homeopathy for sneezing, for example, or whatever your allergy symptom is. And you're going to have all these sites pop up, and go look at the ones that are written by Indian doctors.
Yes.
Yeah.
They practice homeopathy all the time, and they actually list the remedy, and they list all these concomitant symptoms. Things you don't even think about. Now, you're not going to match every single one of those symptoms, but if you get 2 or 3, and or even for your cat, 2 or 3, that like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what he does, or this is exactly what it looks like. Try that remedy, because you would be surprised at how easy it is to address those kinds of symptoms with homeopathy. And homeopathy just helps the body's vital force to rebalance itself.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
It is really
I want to
fascinating.
bring it back to our precious Pooh Bear for a minute, because you were our first introduction into homeopathy as well as the woo-woo.
Yeah.
You've been quite a teacher.
You
to
should
us
see
as well.
the amount of homeopathy that we have now.
but I want to say, for anyone who's thinking like, oh, homeopathy, like sugar pellets, like that's just total BS. I want to say, and I'm still so grateful to this day, you helped wean Pooh Bear off of steroids using homeopathy, and a number of your insights. But homeopathy, I remember Apis Mel.
Yeah.
When he would have a flare up, instead of giving him a steroid, that was it was like watching magic almost, right?
Yes.
It's like water.
It's nothing,
right?
Not a problem at all.
It's like we're giving them water. It's right. Like, it's not like this red,
but
deep
so
liquid antibiotic or something to shove down their mouth. It's like, here you go.
So I really do encourage people, look up homeopathy like there's a whole world of medicine that existed before pharmaceuticals ever arrived on the scene. And it is really enlightening to see what worked, and I mean worked, didn't just symptoms. What really worked. And I love that you're on the forefront of kind of bringing that almost ancient knowledge back. I don't know. You're like really putting it back out there, because it is.
I have to give all the credit to Dr. Will Falconer, because he's the one I learned it from. And then I also worked with a vet in Colorado. We did a remote, session. She did telemedicine, and she was also in Dr. Falconer's same class, and they studied under Dr. Pitcairn, who is the father of homeopathy for pets. They were in the first class that he ever did for vets. And so, I've learned a lot from him. It was just like, when you understand how simple homeopathy is, and you can see the results like so quickly, your mind is blown. Like, whenever my cats get bladder issues because of stress, because of all the cats in spirit that visit, and dogs barking outside, and
bunnies,
the urine mark all over my deck, and my cats freak out. They get a little cystitis issue. So I knock it out with homeopathy. I don't run to the vet. I was like, I know what you need. So here we go. And I will tell you this, I muscle test everything. That's my thing. But that's how I know what to use. If you don't know how to muscle test, guys, look into it, because it can change your life.
Well, can we talk about that just for a second? Because I want people to know that they can reach out to you to muscle test for specific things. So we've talked about this in the past, but it's been a minute, and we have there's new people listening today. So can you tell us a little bit about muscle testing, what you do, and how people can learn it and or reach out to you to do it for them?
Yeah. Okay. So muscle testing is basically a way of tapping into the knowledge of the body and asking questions.
They call it kinesiology, right? When they want to make it sound fancy.
Like applied kinesiology is like what if you're in a physical setting and someone is, pushing down on your arm, like a chiropractor or a nutritionist, and you're holding a supplement, and they're seeing if your body is strong or if it goes weak. It determines, your body knows what it needs and what it doesn't need, and there are ways to figure that out. Just testing the energy, because it's all about energy. And when it comes down to everything is energy. This microphone is energy. The supplement that you take is energetic. Your body is energetic. So if something resonates and it's agreement, it supports it, then that's going to help. And if it doesn't, your body doesn't want it or it doesn't need it, and it just makes the whole process so much easier. So you don't have to
and cheaper
all your time and money buying all these supplements that maybe you don't need or your cat doesn't need. And, we all have the supplement graveyard, which you've spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on. And, some of those are good to kind of hold on to because we need some things every now and then to kind of go to. But if you're not sure, and if you go to the vet, for example, and they're like, well, we could do A, B, C, and you can muscle test, you can determine what the best course of action is for your cat right then. And not do this guessing game of like, oh my God, that one's going to be $1,000. Is it going to help? Why not make it easier on yourself? It's amazing.
Do you have a course that you teach people on how
Laura just said, I took Pam's muscle testing course and use it all the time with my own cats and my clients' cats. It's an amazing tool to have in your tool belt.
Do you have that available on your website?
Is it available now?
Yeah, there's two ways you can do this. You can either just take it's an introduction to muscle testing workshop that's available on the website, the store website, shop.purrrfectlyholistic.com. Or you could tap into like a private mentorship mastering muscle testing program where I mentor you to do evaluations on yourself and your cats, your dogs. You can just energetically go through the whole body and figure out emotions and physical stressors and what does that look like, and is it food, is it environmental sensitivities, is it heavy metals, is it vaccines, is it chemicals in your home, like what's throwing the body out of balance and where is it affecting the body. It's not hard, but it is a private course, and actually did a spring sale, if now's your time, 25% off the normal price.
Oh, wow.
Where do they get that?
No, that is through a call. So you have to just go book a call with me to talk about that. So that's a private membership, but the information is on my homepage on the Purrrfectlyholistic.com website. It's the Mastering Muscle Testing Program for Healthy, Happy Pets.
Okay, and Purrrfectly Holistic is Purrrfectlyholistic.com.
Yes, that's it. So yeah, the mastering program is on my website with just like highlights and details. And if you're interested, book a call. Let's talk and see if it's a good fit for you. It is a lifetime program, and you have access to all the information, private platform and everything, and self-paced course where you can work through and learn how to work with charts, learn how to do energy clearing work. It's fascinating. Or you can just take an introduction to muscle testing and learn what it's all about and start to learn a few skills that you can practice. So it depends on what you want to do with it.
I do think it's fascinating. This to me was the most woo-woo thing of all. I thought it was like, I did not know what. But after going through so many things with Pooh Bear, I have to say, muscle testing, what the body sees as what his body was, what was beneficial versus not. Like you remember we were using certain supplements that you're like, steroids. that actually doesn't test beneficial. And something else would, that we were like, oh, we haven't even tried that. We didn't think that was a good fit. You try it, and so muscle testing streamlines. It's one of the most
completely streamlines. Yes.
Wow. It was the most, it's one thing to think it's totally woo-woo, it's another thing to see the results. And I really felt like if there was anything that could really just kind of whip you upside the head, recognizing, for sure, we understand that energy is a real thing. You've all met those people that are like, man, I just feel like the skin on the back of my neck is just itching right now. Or you meet people that you're like, we have known each other forever. This is an incredible thing. There is something like about intuition and energy, and it's a real thing. To use that kind of scientifically to help streamline issues that our cats can't be like, this is what's bothering me.
Yeah.
It is really, I'm going to say it again, brain blowing.
Brain blowing, not mind blowing, but brain blowing.
I remember the first time I did it with you in Denver at the restaurant, and your eyes were just like, what?
Yes.
What?
Yes. I'll never forget that.
It is. It's like watching magic.
Mhm.
It's like watching magic at first.
Mhm.
You don't
Feels
understand, right? Like you don't understand.
Until you get it. And then you're like, oh, this
Right.
actually makes perfect sense.
All Floppy Cats is in the house and said, hi, 3 crazy cat ladies.
What's up, love?
Hello, love.
So good to see you.
Of course, we said it at the top of the show. We're going to say it again. There was no time limit to this, but we're an hour and 10 minutes in. I feel like we kind of covered everything. Pam, what did we not cover about allergies?
Yeah.
Tonight?
What
We have been kind of all over the place because we just talked to.
Let me review my notes and let's see if I have any other final thoughts. You talked a little bit about the air filters, or like HEPA filters. Like, keep your home environment just clean. Spend the extra money on the most expensive HEPA filter you can for your AC units in the house, and change your filters on a regular basis, because that can help reduce the allergens in the home.
Right.
I think a pro tip for that is write the date that you change your filters.
Yes.
Don't forget, write the date on the filter or put it in your calendar. Because, it's like, did you have a 1-month filter? Do you have a 3-month filter? I don't know. And then you just forget about it. You don't change your filters.
And we always buy like whatever is the closest available or right then, because we're procrastinating and like, oh, okay, we need a new filter.
Buyers. Right.
So
just pick one up.
Your better deal is going to be at Home Depot or Lowe's. Don't buy them at the grocery store. They cost you like twice as much.
Yeah, they do.
Thank you for that.
And you can get like a 4-pack for a fraction of the cost. Grocery stores are like 1 for that price. I'm like, what? That's a no-brainer. Yeah. Mushrooms, I would say, if mushrooms are immune modulators, so reishi mushrooms are a mushroom blend of some kind that's really good for the immune system. If your cat kind of struggles, then definitely you think about muscle testing your cat for reishi mushrooms or a mushroom, product or something like that. I was looking for things for itching skin. The chamomile tea, like if your cat has a hot spot or something, you could actually use brew a tea bag, and then let the tea bag cool, and you can just kind of pat it onto that little hot spot area. You could even put a little bit of that chamomile tea in their food. It's very calming. So that can help. And your Meow Mist, of course, is excellent for skin irritations and things like that, discomfort. I would just look at your supplement options, look at your environment, like what can you change or swap out or get rid of, and then try some homeopathy. Go Google like we talked about, your symptom of some kind, homeopathy for. And little pro tip, don't put for cats. Just put homeopathy for symptom.
Yes. Because
you're going to find a whole lot more information on just general stuff.
Yeah.
Homeopathy was tested and originally developed on people, and then they take that and they moved it into pets. But a lot of the similar symptoms are, for people and for pets.
I have to give a personal shout out real quick to chamomile tea bags. And thank you, Laura Lee, Moon Mojo Feline, for saying be careful with tea bags. Some tea bags have microplastics in them. It's great to get organic.
Yes.
Right? But when I was stung by a scorpion on the bottom of my foot, I don't know how many years ago now, I was definitely having a very painful. I know that a lot of people have been hospitalized. It was an Arizona bark scorpion. I started getting blurred vision. Jay immediately went into Dr. J mode. And she made this compress.
Like holistic Dr. J.
She made this compress with a chamomile tea bag.
And
oh my gosh.
And it was sesame oil.
Something, yeah.
It was sesame oil. I was doing a lot of
but I have to say, like that, I mean, that was obviously a venomous sting, but chamomile, everyone thinks of it as like their sleepy time tea, like, oh, grandma's favorite go-to for, that is a powerful, beautiful herb. And that you have these kind of acute situations where you try it, you use it, you see it, and it takes on a whole different meaning for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, I want to point out something over here. Jenny's talking about floppy cat. She says bentonite clay is her favorite histamine binder.
Oh yeah.
Clay is it depends on, just like everybody. Some things work really good for some people and cats, and others are like, yeah, it's okay, but not super great. If there's a lot of stagnation in the body and there's just a lot of histamine circulating all the time, especially if your cat has never done any kind of detoxification work, look at the burdock root, look at something like dandelion with milk thistle, something to support the lymphatic system. I have something called Detoxifier for Pets. It's a homeopathic blend. So you can look at things like that just to help the lymphatic system so it doesn't get so stagnant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a question too. Can you give cats honey for allergies like we do people, like
local honeys for your local
allergies.
You know how like they say that if you have local honey from your area that it helps with your specific allergies because they're pollinating all of the stuff and things. Do you know anything about that?
No, I think I've heard Dr. Becker talk about that for dogs a little bit on the Inside Scoop, but I don't know. Honestly, would a cat even eat honey?
Well, cats don't have a sweet sensor, so I'm wondering, like,
if you put some freeze-dried liver mixed in it, maybe I don't know.
That might be a new product.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look into this. That is a great question,
works,
Stephanie.
Who knows? Yeah, that is a very good question.
Yeah, who knows?
Okay. We have kept everyone so long. Pam, will you please tell everyone, you have products, you have services, you have
so much
colleagues that help with, you really have quite the resource on your website. Will you please share with everyone? I know it's in the description, but
yeah, my shop is shop.purrrfectlyholistic.com, and we do have services for pets and for pet parents. So if you need Reiki, if you want an Akashic record reading, for example, if you want to do mind, body, spirit release, that's like my signature service that I do for initial clients. And I have a new service coming on board soon. I'm just waiting to get the go ahead that I can go ahead and share that. It's a whole new certification. It's really, really cool.
Teaser, MG.
I know. It's ready, but they haven't given the final blessing, like, yes, you passed. But yeah, and then animal communication is one of, and Reiki for pets. There's Akasha record reading for pets too. It's cool. It's just fun information. And if you want to explore the energy side of the woo-woo world, that's where my team and I really excel. So it's really cool.
It's fun if it's something that you just want to explore and you're not really dealing with something.
But
if
it
you
is
are
vital.
Dealing with something, this is something that is
that can literally change your cat's whole entire life trajectory.
And yours. I really think that what you're doing is one of the most
has for
things.
Us, and that's why we're saying this.
Yeah.
Well, and Christy's so sweet. She says, Pam, help me post-vaccine detox for Ripple. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I mean,
help a lot of people through the whole vaccine detoxification stuff.
And it's big. You helped us, and you helped us through that
and
as well.
And I think, just for anyone who's still here listening, vaccine detox is a thing. I know that there are many rescues, many places where you have to go through all the combo shots. Your kitten or your rescue is just inundated with this incredible routine of vaccines all at once. We splitting up their initial vaccine. So, but that doesn't mean that, that's terrible. And you can still detox, and you are such a gift in that way.
You're not helpless. There is help.
Yes.
And I tell people all the time, I don't care if your cat got vaccines 10 years ago, detox the crap out of them, because
that's what you did for us.
Heavy metals. They have formaldehyde. They have some cases glyphosate. They have all these detergents. They have all this stuff in there that it doesn't just get eliminated from the body. It gets stored in the tissues. It gets stored in the brain. And that's when you start to have these chronic health issues. Oh, I know there was something else I was going to share. It's kind of mind bending. I think I sent you this info a while back. I was listening to an interview with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He was doing an interview with some lady, and they were talking about vaccinations in people and kids, and they were finding through their studies that aluminum that they put as an adjuvant in vaccines has been traced to chronic environmental sensitivities. So
Yes.
whatever was blooming, trees, grasses, weeds, pollens, whatever, when you were exposed to aluminum, your body records it, and it's like written in your cellular tissue that any time that you are going to be a lifetime struggler with those allergens because of that aluminum in your body.
Crazy.
Wow.
It's crazy. And I had a light bulb moment. I thought, oh my gosh, maybe that's why so many pets have so many environmental allergens and sensitivities to trees and weeds and grasses and molds. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? Things that they should be just at one with.
Like they're
they shouldn't be reacting to all the time, but
Right.
it's got to work the same way in pets as it does in people, because we know that they affect the body the same way.
Yep.
So that was just one of those OMG moments where I thought, oh
Yep.
my gosh, that's why so many people struggle. And even after going through detoxification and building leaky gut, you may still have a propensity to be reactive to those things because of that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something to think about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And I love that you're a great resource too for helping to detox, like what you did with our Pooh Bear. Just, it's not like, oh, this happened, that's the end of the road, this is bad. It is, no, there are things that can be done.
Even though
improve.
it's way down the road, like we
Right.
were like 10 years down the road or something,
Yes.
right? And 9 years or something. And you were like,
we can
he
detox
needs
the
a
rabies
detox
vaccine.
of the rabies vaccine.
You know, it's really funny. It wasn't until like just a few months ago. I want to say it was probably last fall, maybe late summer or last fall. I had one of those aha moments because Gunner, he's my allergy boy, and whenever he's reacting something, I'm reacting to the same thing. So it's like, oh, it's Willow and Elm today. Okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna clear myself too. So what? I wanted to, it's like the cobbler has no shoes. One day I was just like, why does he have all these allergies? What haven't I done for him? And then it was just like this download. You never detox the damn vaccines he got as a kitten. And he's 16. So I didn't know all this information when I got him. That was in 2008. So I was in the process of starting to unpack all this information. And so I know that there was probably 2 or 3 years there where he probably got revaccinated. And it occurred to me that I never detoxed those vaccines.
Wow.
So I did last year. I did. I finally, and I swear it did make a difference. But we're still, I think he was exposed to aluminum because here we are. He's not as bad. He's much, much better, but he's still reactive. So, I still have hope. But we do the intermittent, liver support and the zeolite for chemicals because I have formaldehyde in the flooring and I can't get rid of that, so stuff like that. And that stresses your immune system. So the more you're aware, the more you can take action, right?
Yep. Wow. Beautiful.
I love it.
Beautiful.
I love it so much. For everyone that's just like, oh my God, I'm feeling overloaded right now. The website is purrrfectlyholistic.com.
That's Purrrfectlyholistic.com.
And I love that you're such an incredible resource. So whether you're dealing with detox, whether you're dealing with allergies, whether you're dealing with an issue that you don't really know what it is and you've been back and forth to the vet, I really, we call you our pocket Pam. And for those guys that haven't met Pam in person, she literally is like, I can nestle her head to my bosom. Yes, little lady.
So small.
And all the land. It's all I can do not to pick you up and stuff you in my pocket. It's why she's pocket Pam. But you are such a gift. You're such a resource, and you're so gentle. I think that's one of the most incredible things is that, especially when we came to you and there were so many things that we were doing wrong, thinking that we were trying to do them right. and you really walked us through.
There's no
all the
judgment. You have
landmarks.
no
Yeah.
judgment.
Um,
You are.
I used to do everything wrong, so I don't judge anybody, because I've always, we all start from point A, and that's our learning journey, and we're on this journey to learn. And yes, we make mistakes along the way, but where do we learn the most?
through our
mistakes, right?
Yeah.
So they're invaluable.
It happened for a reason.
Yeah, well, you
Always does.
are in our life for a reason. We love you so much. Thank you so much for being here with us tonight, especially going an hour and a half.
Oh my! All right.
It's going to be a long show because this is a lot of topic to cover. It's all good.
To have you on again very soon to talk about
More.
half the stuff that we started talking about tonight that we could talk about for another hour.
Yeah,
absolutely. Anytime.
We love you so much. Thank you
you
all for joining us. Did you have something else?
I was just going to say, you guys can always follow Pam you're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Anywhere else?
Those are the three main.
Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Purrrfectly Holistic. That's Purrrfectly Holistic. Go follow, reach out. Link is in the description. If you guys have questions, concerns, anything like that, reach out. She is the kindest resource we have ever had. And so, and most gentle. So we're so grateful.
We love you.
And we love you so much. And we love you all. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you. This is our last podcast for the month.
Yeah. For a couple weeks.
We're gonna be gone for a little bit, but we will see you guys in May. Love you guys so much.
We love you. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.